Street Journal, California enjoys respite from fires, but more danger looms. Just 1 week after multiple dangerous wildfires were burning on really both ends of California, the state is basking under clear, nearly smoke-free skies again. And let's go now to California, Sonoma, in fact, where we're joined by former US Naval Intelligence Officer John Jordan. John, you couldn't actually join us last week because your home was under threat. Is it true that you don't have smoke-filled skies at the moment? And tell us everything turned out well.
That's absolutely true. Last week, my winery, in fact, where my TV studio, right where I'm sitting right now, was under threat, and we were evacuated. I was in San Francisco and Sacramento. The entire community where I live, the northern half of Sonoma County, over 200,000 people were evacuated. So hotels were full. It was just terrible. Power was out. The water was out. Gas is just now coming back on for many people. It was not very many homes were destroyed, fortunately, in this year's fires, at least in this area, but just the enormous dislocation. And the other part of the story is, this part of the California is the wine country, as many of you know, but it's also a big tourist destination, high-end food and wine tastings and the like. And September, October are our biggest tourist months. So there's an enormous economic cost to many of the small businesses and all the people that live and work here as well.
Just to switch coasts now, John, and another firestorm of sorts is, of course, the impeachment proceedings. How do you expect this all to shake down?
Well, it is really tough to know. The hearings are going to begin next week, and Republicans then are, for the first time, going to have the opportunity to cross-examine some of these witnesses. Regardless which side you're on, the Democrat strategy to date has been to have these hearings in closed session. Republicans are not there. They're not questioning the witnesses. And then the Democrats have employed a selective leak strategy where they take certain snippets or certain sentences and then disclose it to the press to shape a media narrative. So it hasn't been out in the open, and the Democrats have completely controlled that process. Now, politically, the Democrats are now forced to do this in public, and they're compelled now to allow Republican members of Congress and staff to cross-examine these witnesses and to tell the entire story. So this is going to be a game changer, and whether or not this bends the arc of the media narrative is hard to know. But it is certainly going to be, the rules of the game are going to be fundamentally different.
It seems that Donald Trump isn't hiding the fact that he is quite concerned about this. He's hitting back on Twitter, etc. But is there any evidence that this is hurting him electorally? I mean, if you look at some of the swing states, particularly Iowa, he's received a bit of a boost, hasn't he?
It's exactly right. If you look at the Real Clear Politics average, it's a website, realclearpolitics.com. It's great for understanding the American political scene. They have an average of polls that rolls back about 2 weeks. So the average, by definition, rings out a lot of the outliers. And President Trump's approval rating has always been about the same. Right now it's at 43 and change, 43 and a half, which is pretty much is the mean of where it's always been. So President Trump's approval numbers have not taken a hit. And as you point out, there were some surveys done in a lot of swing states where the majority of voters do not approve of impeaching President Trump. And further, that President Trump is beating a lot of the leading Democrat contenders in the Democrat primary. At the same time, you have the media beating up on President Trump, something awful. Democrats are turned out and agitated to vote. So it's anybody's game right now, and President Trump continues to hurt himself with the way he communicates. Americans approve of the results of President Trump, but don't like the way he does things. This is the opposite of President Obama, where they loved the man, loved the way he talked, but didn't approve of Obamacare, for instance. So it looks like if this continues, the presidential race in 2020 could best be characterized as a race of the cripples.
Race of the cripples.
Yeah.
Okay, you said that, not us. Appreciate your time, John Jordan. We'll see you soon.